Good afternoon. I'm your candidate for governor of Florida. November 3rd, 2026 will be the election day. One of the main things I ask for is to go to the website. There's a petition on there. You just print it out, you sign your name, you take it to your supervisors of elections office. But that's not why I want to talk today. What I want to tell you is we don't have to implode as a nation. We have all branches of government, judicial, executive, and legislative, that are infighting. The idea of getting information in news is really based on if the question that comes out is one that you like or dislike. And by that, we are seeing a level of infighting at a mass scale in the nation, in our nation. It's everywhere. It's at every level of politics. If you are asked a question that you do not like, or your constituents don't like that you were asked, that somebody else wasn't asked, then they are considered to be not a good source. We had a conversation where now we are concerned that someone thought it was a good idea to just show us pictures of something that was not done the way it was said to be done. Controlling the narrative. That's the same as me saying I have a controller in my hand and you having to believe me when I could simply raise my hand up and show you I have a controller and you can be sure that I have it. There is no need to trust everything that comes out of anyone's mouth if they have the ability to show you. There's an estimated 335 million citizens that make up the United States of America. An estimated 335 million. There is not an elected official that we have ever elected that has shaken every citizen's hand. So the level of trust that you give an individual may not be the same level of trust that someone else does. So we need to ensure that references, that information can be and should be backed up, because we're in a representative democracy, which, by the way, I, running for governor of Florida, want to give more authority to citizens to make it more of a direct democracy. Because right now, the people who represent us want blind loyalty. I do not believe that any elected position is above reproach. I do not believe you are above being questioned, and I believe you should be questioned and you should be challenged. You are put there to do a job, and the only way to be sure you do that job is through evaluation. And some of those jobs require consistent evaluation. To say that at any level of government that citizens do not need to know, that citizens cannot answer questions. Down in Miami, down in South Florida, to pull a citizen, to drag a citizen out for trying to get clarity, and then to start telling other citizens, hey, you can't ask a question, you can't do all of these things. There are plenty of ways that the people we elect should be able to control the environment. And I can tell you right now, the president down in South Florida that was over that council meeting that dragged that lady out of there, you could have done a better job. You could have said that, hey, we're going to defer this conversation and we're not going to take any questions on it today because it's been deferred. We don't have to create confusion or any of that. But if you do have questions, we're going to put somebody outside of the room so we can continue to go on with business. But that's not what you did. That's not your first thought. Your first thought, just like most elected officials, first thought is controlling and having this overwhelming power to not be questioned. And I'm sorry, that's not the case if you're an elected official. But because citizens, non-elected citizens who are considered constituents, the people who vote for representation, because you do not have any power, that is the ego trip that these people go on. And I'm trying to run a platform, a campaign that simply says, get off of that, because you do work for the taxpayer. Your money is coming from the taxpayer, which does make the taxpayer your boss. But because we have rules, regulations, statutes, laws, policies, then we have a way to ensure that citizens have a means of holding elected officials accountable. We just have to put it in place because it hasn't been put in place. You have the president, you got the Secretary of Defense talking about leaks. Ladies and gentlemen, the strike was over. It happened. The world knew. The President of the United States tweeted about the victory. No one ever questioned whether or not the pilots dropped the packages that they were supposed to in the manner they were supposed to do it. I haven't heard a single person say, hey, those pilots made an error. No, they took a package, they took a strike package, they did what they were supposed to do. They dropped them where they're supposed to drop them. Whether or not something did what it was supposed to or not is based on intelligence, not whether or not the action completed itself. And now we're saying that, hey, how dare you let the citizens who put us in office know that, you know what? We did not accomplish what we could not have. Right now in social society, we have the biggest problem with accountability. If you're going to use taxpayer money, then you must be accountable for the mistakes. No one asks you to be perfect. I haven't seen a single person yet say that when I elect somebody, they need to be perfect, but they must be accountable. But there is no way for citizens to enact accountability except for to wait until it's either time for you to ask to be revoted in and you don't. Because you're not firing them just because you don't revote them in. You're just not rehiring them. That's it. Whatever damage is done, it's done. And that's what we need to change. That's what we need to focus on, and we need to be serious about it. I am non-party affiliated because I'm watching every party rip at each other's head. There is no decorum. Let's just stop it. We've seen more arguments, more negative language, more rhetoric, more disgusting rhetoric than we've ever visually seen, and we get to see it often. To cut the cameras off doesn't mean it's not happening. It just means that we remove it from your peer view. To cut off information to you means that now you have no choice but to believe. But we're not babies. When you have a child, that child has no choice but at an infant level, has no choice but to let the parent do the best it can for survival. As tax-paying adults in the United States of America, we deserve more. We deserve more, and we deserve representation that understands that and wants to give us that. So when our three branches of government dislike themselves ever again and they hate every single thing that is going on, you don't want to be questioned. This is for all the branches. None of them want to be questioned. None of them want to answer to the citizens. I understand. No one's asking you to stand in front of a room and let 100 people scream at you and you cannot understand the questions. But when you get a question, you need to have to answer it. When we see these reporters get out here and ask these questions, what we're not looking for anyone to do is tell us how dumb they are. Just answer the question. Just answer it. We don't need to go on blind faith because you've been hired to have the answer. So just answer it. We do not have to implode, but citizens got to get behind a representative that is for the people, that wants to put in the type of legislation, the type of statutes, the type of laws that benefit citizens having information, because they keep taking your taxpayer money. How long before we want representation that's going to have to stick to it? I say this, I've said this before, I'll say it again. There is no legal way to hold any elected official accountable to their word. Let them get up there and lie. don't really matter. You can get in front of any camera you want to and lie. You know where you start running into problems when you start lying? In the law, in that judiciary committee. You can't be lying to them. You can lie to everyone else. Everyone else. How many times have we watched someone and you listen to them and you know they're not being honest? And you know what they started doing consistently that we're seeing? They just don't answer the question at all. They just talk about whatever they want to talk about. You get asked the question, hey, how are you going to pay for all of the people that you want to fire from the VA? You know, the red sheet of paper over there is red. And what are you talking about? We want to know how you're managing the budget. Well, you know, the boxes that I got from my Amazon package, what is going on? This is unheard of. And it will take citizens to really decide. We don't have to, look, I'm never going to advocate for tearing this thing apart. That's ridiculous. What we've messed up at is we put the wrong people in the wrong places. Bottom line. There is nothing more to say about that. You put the wrong people in the wrong places and you've never considered yourself. You've never considered the simple fact that there is no place for you. It's just representation after representation after representation. It's grassroots organization. It's the Women's League. It's all of these different groups coming out saying something is wrong and they're getting plenty of backing. It's knowing that 1776 all the way to 1920 is when we even looked at giving women rights. And I can't even get enough women to get behind the understanding that there are atrocious parts of our history that we don't even understand. And you have men that are in positions, non-elected positions, that are pushing to retract the rights that it already took you well over 200 years to get in the first place. 1776 to 1920. 1920 is when white women received the right to vote. And we now have people that are willing, that do not care about anything. You got the gentleman. Y'all need to look this gentleman up. He does the solo cup guy. He does solo cup. I believe his name is Sully. Sully with the solo cups. He gives a visual illustration. You know why I don't stitch? I don't stitch because somebody in another video may say something that you disagree with. The only thing I want you to disagree with is whether or not you believe you should have more authority or not. I don't even want you to decide whether or not any side is lying, because we've heard them all lie. So I'm not asking you to choose those sides. I'm asking you to decide whether or not as a citizen you deserve to be put in a place that when the three forms of government are looking as if they're going to implode, we can do something about it. And let me explain this to you. We have a Congress who people have said have conceded power over, and you can find the bills, and I've also done videos to show that. You have a Democratic Party who has no power whatsoever. So Congress, let's just move them out the way. You got an executive branch trying to put everything under the executive umbrella so they don't have any oversight. They've been putting out bill after bill after bill trying to not have oversight. And you got the judiciary branch who sometimes decides that, you know what? We don't even have to answer whatever decision we make. And then let's not mention all three branches have the utmost weirdest level of immunity from who? Citizens. Who are they immune from? Who are they immune from? Citizens cannot control whether or not an individual gets removed from the presidency. They don't ask you. They have to ask the representative group. The representative group recently just said, we're not even going to table the conversation. There you have it. Now we know where they stand. Citizens, you need to decide. Citizens, you need to decide. And if you made it this far, the only thing I ask is that you go to my website, you download the petition, you take it to your supervisor of elections office, and you give yourself a chance. That's the only thing that I'm asking, that you give yourself a chance and that you put your political weight behind a representative that is for the people. I'm not for my people. I'm not for your people. I'm not for that. I'm for the people. Human race. United States of America. I am for the people. That's it. I need to ensure that my kids and their kids have a means to control if indeed this thing unravels. Nothing is perfect. Nothing will be perfect. We can strive for perfection. But when these three fail, where do the citizens lie? In history, the citizens have lied in revolution. I just don't want to have a revolution that needs to have bloodshed. I don't think that's too much to ask. We don't need to burn everything down and tear everything up. We have enough people that just hate enough people already. That's enough of that already. The only thing that I want to do, the only revolution that I want to have is the one where citizens say, hey, we need to be written in the Constitution. So when we see y'all three failing, we can step in and say, you know what? By a democratic process, the majority of us has decided this is how this is going to go forward because y'all can't figure it out. That's what I stand for. My plan is on my website. Take some time out this afternoon. Take some time out over the weekend to look into the things that I am trying to do. I do appreciate your time. I do appreciate every single person that has taken the time to do or to listen to me. But if you're not doing that simple piece, taking that in and then letting me know that, hey, I support you, and them likes and them follows is not enough. What it matters is, did you take that paper to your supervisors of elections office and give yourself a chance? Give yourself a chance. You guys have a great day.